Hey, what's up, everybody? I am DJ Shockley. Appreciate you guys coming through and joining me for Falcons film review. And I got a good one today. I'm talking about my man, A.J. Terrell, one of the top corners in all the National Football League, and some of the things that he does well in man coverage, which makes him really special. And talk about the matchup you got this week with Jaxon, a guy who 1,300 yards on the season. Break down a couple things that he does well and how the Falcons can kind of combat that when it comes to playing against him. First, let's talk about my man, A.J. Terrell, and what he does really well in man coverage. On this particular play here, they want to get the matchup with Metchie right here. They're going to bring the tight end in motion, and now you got A.J. with man coverage on Metchie, who is a smaller, quicker kind of receiver. And all receivers are a little bit different in the league, and A.J. plays them all pretty well. He has the size and athleticism to play them as well. He does a really good job, I think, with his feet to start off. With a corner, you have to have really good feet, especially in man coverage, especially playing press coverage. He does a good job here, what I call just staying balanced. Look at his feet. He has really balanced feet here. Doesn't put his hands on them. Doesn't panic at the point of attack. On the outside, you're going to get a comeback route that comes back here and come back down. A lot of guys get in trouble when they get to the top of this route and they pull on the receiver because they're not in position to make the play. So watch what he does at the top of his route. Brings his hips down, boom. Brings his hips down and now drives to the target of the receiver, and now this guy doesn't bolt away. He does a good job of keeping what I say his outside hand free to knock this football away, and then he drives on and make a good play on it. Look at that. Hand knocks the football away, incompletion. Playing against a guy like Metchie, who's quick, who's fast, A.J. has the athleticism to do it as well, but he also has the footwork, the balance, the hips to be able to play against a smaller guy. This next play is a bigger type of receiver in McMillan, who we saw against Carolina. Similar thing, playing a lot of man coverage. This week you're going to play Jaxon, who is a bigger kind of receiver, has that bigger kind of athleticism to him. But in this particular play here, you're going to get what's called a little in cut here. And a lot of guys on these in cuts for defensive backs, they panic at the point of attack, and you see them grab that left hand and they kind of pull the receiver back, and that's when you get the pass interference. That's when you get the holding calls, because they say they hook them with that outside hand. A.J. does such a good job of not panicking at the point of attack and making those plays when they're there. So let's watch what happens here. Does a good job again. Watch his feet. Good job of panic right here. Feet is on balance once again. Not over committing to one side or the other, not giving away the outside or inside, forcing the receiver to make a play inside or out. Now, as he makes his cut, A.J.'s in the hip pocket. Because he was balanced, because he was able to drop his hips and his center of gravity to make this play here. And now, I'd say, watch this left hand. I talked about it. This left hand of A.J. doesn't pull him. It's just sitting on that hip right there. Doesn't pull it. He doesn't panic. Now he makes his play on him and uses that outside hand, that right hand, to come around and make the play. Ultimately, another incompletion. And that's why A.J. is one of the best in the league, I believe, because of how he plays in man coverage as well as zone. But he can play any type of receiver. All right, this week, talk about Jaxon Smith-Njigba, a guy who can do a lot of things. He's got good speed, he's got good burst, but he's also really good in space. We got to do a really good job of closing the space on this guy, because he can make you miss in a phone booth. This is a negative yardage throw right here. A little, just what we call a now route to the receiver, and you're going to throw it to him. They're on the 25-yard line, and once this play is snapped here, he's going to catch it about the 24. Catches it on about the 24 there, and now you see the speed to be able to go around here. I talked about him. You can be able to close the space on him. Once he catches this football here, look at the amount of yardage in space that they have between him and the receiver. Almost 7 yards of space in between them. You got to close this space pretty quickly because of his ability to be able to break tackles in space. Now he gets outside, boom. Now he turns this into a big-time play. A negative yardage play, gets the corner, and then he doesn't want to run out of bounds. He's a physical receiver as well. This safety has the angle on him, thinks he's going to run out of bounds, and watch this. Cuts back inside. We have to be physical with this guy and get him on the ground. Close the space. He has the speed, has the burst, and he wants to be physical with the ball in his hands. He's got 355 yards after the catch. So guess what? We got to make sure we get this guy on the ground. Here's another part that Seattle will try to do in this ball game. It's about trying to find the right matchups. They're going to try to get one of their best receivers on a safety. Usually receivers on safeties, they feel really good about that. This week, this is what happened here. We got to do a good job of, when we see this matchup, understanding what we have to do. I think in this particular position here, this safety waits a little bit too long to get out of his break. Look at it. He's already broke his cushion right here. He's already 2 yards on him, and he's just turning in his cushion. We got to make sure we get out of there because this guy wants to use his speed to beat you over the top, and he does that here. Outruns him. You see him almost 21 miles per hour on this play here. Here's the ball in the air right now. The ball's in the air right now. He doesn't show hands. And what I mean by that is most receivers, good receivers, they show their hands late. Good defensive backs that look at the receiver's eyes or wait for their eyes to get big or their hands to go up to kind of swipe through. He does a really good job of not showing his hands and waiting for it to come out late hands, and now he catches it and is a big time play. We got to make sure, for one, we know where he's at on the field, but also close the space on him, be physical with Jaxon Smith-Njigba, because he's a guy that wants to create the big plays, whether it's a 1-yard catch or it's a big-time play there for an explosive. He's got 8 plays of 20 yards or more, 6 plays of 40 yards or more. That tells you he's explosive. We got to make sure we know where he's at all times. Hope you guys enjoyed my Falcons film review. I'm DJ Shockley. See you next week.